Thank you for joining me. So here we're going to talk about how to show that you have money for your visa approval. Now, are you tired of hearing we regret to inform you that your visa has been denied? Are you tired of making repeated visa applications and getting denied? Visa officers are not only interested in checking visa application forms, they also want to know that you can afford your planned trip. Now, whether you're from Nigeria or any other country, with a weak passport, proving that you can afford to pay for your trip isn't just important, it is fundamental to you getting a visa. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps that you must take if you want to show that you can afford to pay for your trip. Stay with me. Have you bought a copy of my book? If you haven't done that, you are wrong. So get a copy of my book. I'm going to list out the stores where you can get this book. You'll find it in the description where you can get a copy of my book. Embassies don't care what you say you earn. They care about what you show on paper. Now, the first thing you want to do is that you want to build a clean bank statement. Now, a healthy bank statement is not one that has a lump sum of money that was deposited the week or weeks before your visa application was submitted. Your bank statement is like a financial CV. And also you want to make it clean. Your bank statement should show consistent income over a 3 to 6 months period, depending on the duration of a bank statement that you require for the visa that you're applying for. So it needs to show that you have earned an income consistently over a period of time. If you're employed, of course, it means that your salary should be paid to that account over a period of 3 to 6 months. So if you're a business person, you want to show consistently that money comes in and out to show that your business is a going concern or that you receive revenue or profits or proceeds from your business consistently. That is what a healthy bank account would look like. A healthy bank account would not show large deposits, that are unexplained. You just have large deposits of money that you cannot explain where the money came from. Or maybe the money is even there, but yet you don't provide an explanation as to where the money came from. Your spending pattern too, should also be consistent with who you say you are and your lifestyle as well as your income. So these are what you need to look at. When I talk about building a clean bank statement, your bank statement must have these 3 things. Consistency, no suspicious, sum of money moving in and out within a very short period of time. And your spending habits, must be consistent with who you say you are. So if you plan to travel next year, you should actually start now to fix your bank account. Start now to build your financial CV. In this case, don't go plant a tree on Monday and expect mangoes on Friday. Start early. If you're traveling next year, start now to build a financial record, consistent income going into the bank account that you will be presenting for your visa application. Another thing you want to do is that you want to show proof of ties. It is just as important as having money, because having money alone is not enough. They want to know that you will go back home, because you can go gather the money and then they're like, okay, you've gathered all this money. What do you do? As in, what is the guarantee that you're not just gathering money to travel and not return home? They want to know that you would return home after your trip. And so what would you be doing? If you have, property in your name, you want to include that. If you have a job, you want to ensure that your employer includes a cover letter to introduce you, to tell them what you do for the organization, to tell them about your trip, your planned trip, including dates. And in any case, tell them when you would be coming, when you're expected back. If you're a business person, you also want to include your business registration documents And you also want to ensure that your business is an active business. So you're not going to put a business document for a company or maybe a business that is dormant. You want to show that it's active. And how would you show that it's active? Through your active bank account, or just something that shows. I know there are people who do business, maybe it's a sole proprietorship, and then receive the proceeds of their business in their own personal bank account. But you just want to show, if you have a bank statement that already has that information, providing the business document and then tying it to that bank statement would also make you look good. If you have assets, it could be liquid assets in terms of, it could be funds, it could be investment, liquid investment, monetary investment. If you feel comfortable disclosing that aspect, you can also disclose. Now, if you don't have a property, there's nothing wrong with that. There are people who, not everyone gets an opportunity to buy a property, but don't worry. If your office introduces you and then you show that you have, activities going on in your country that would bring you back home, it would be sufficient proof of ties if you meet every other requirement. So improve your ties, you would be improving your chances of getting those. People always ask me like, okay, can I provide, more than one bank statement? I have one that shows my salary. I also have one that shows my savings. Yes, you can. If you have a Naira account and let's say a dollar account, if you feel comfortable, you can include both, because it also shows that you're busy. Let's say you have a bank account that gets your salary gets in, and then maybe your salary account is what you use for expenses, and then you don't really have so much savings. But whereas you have a savings account that has more money and then you want to provide both of them, yes, you can go ahead and do that. Do not shy away. There's nothing wrong with that. You can provide multiple bank statements. You can provide proof of investment. However, ensure that when you're providing proof of funds, that it is in a liquid state. What do I mean by that? A fixed deposit. I've seen an instance where someone was denied because they provided evidence of a fixed deposit, meaning that money was not readily, what the embassy said was that they could not determine that money was readily available for that trip. So if you're providing funds to show that this is the money that I want to use and travel, it has to be money that it's ready. It's money you can access if you were given a visa to travel tomorrow. So in terms of fixed deposit, you can use it to show proof of strong ties, meaning I have investment in my country. However, this is the money that I have in my bank account ready for this trip that I want to go on. So that's something that you want to consider. Present your case professionally. Now, when you're applying for visas, I see most times when I review most applications, I find that people just do it shabbily, like, oh, it's serious business, because if you've been denied once, you realize it will set you back. So when you're presenting your case, do it professionally. If you're going to write a cover letter, don't write like you're writing to your friend. You're writing to an embassy. Present your case professionally. Don't just dump documents and then expect the visa officer to go figure it out. When you have officers that are reviewing too many people in a day, if they have to stress to go figure out what documents, it will just be easy for them to deny you. So make it easy for them to say yes. Organize your documents together. If you write a letter and then you list documents, organize your documents in the format in which you have listed that document. So it's easy for the visa officer to identify, which one relates to which. If you have to label them. So present your case professionally, neatly, put your documents together neatly, make it easy for the officer to say yes. Make that shine through in the way that you present your documents for your visa application. I have said it here more than once. When I applied to the Brazilian embassy, when the consul general actually looked at my documents and commended me and said, at first he asked if I prepared those documents myself. And I told him yes. And he said he was actually impressed. I'm a very organized person. I like to toot my own horn, especially when it comes to do with documentation. I like to align everything. I like to put everything together. I like to present it with clarity just to make it easy for anyone who is considering my visa application to grant me that visa application, to learn a thing or two from that and present your case in a professional way. So I hope that this was helpful and I wish you the best outcome. Hi, my name is Otto Bongton and I'm happy to present to you my new book, Girls don't travel just for flowers. Now let me tell you a short story about a girl called Ayanti. Ayanti is a young African girl who grew up in a small village. Her favorite pastime was spotting planes in the sky while playing with other children. She would spend time watching planes soar and dreaming of the moment she would be on one. She filled her days with purpose because she knew her dreams would come true. No challenge felt too big for Ayanti, not because life was easy, but because her courage was always bigger than her fears. Now, one year changed everything, and it was the year Ayanti took her first international flight. She believed in her daydreams, not miracles, but it was a miracle that happened. Now, Girls Don't Travel Just for Flowers is the story of that miracle. With each destination, Ayanti's view of the world expanded, and so will yours as you journey through the pages of this book. Imagine a world where courage fuels your dreams. Now, would you live it intentionally? Too often, we postpone our happiness, believing that it lies in achieving certain milestones or acquiring material wealth or rewards. Now, the truth is, our time here is brief, and that makes happiness urgent and not optional. This book is more than just an adventure. It is a tribute to resilience, passion, and the boldness it takes to create a life that feels like your own. Now, I hope this book inspires you to find joy in your everyday, and to fiercely protect the happiness that you have created for yourself, no matter the circumstances. Because here's the truth. We are not here long enough to live unhappily. Now, to get a copy of this book, you can go to www.workaholic.com, where you can order a copy of Girls Don't Travel Just for Flowers.